I'm not kidding. I actually need you to breathe for a second before I say anything else. Because this is going to feel strange. This is going to feel like I'm into something I should know. And also, I want to say that, honestly, I almost didn't hit record. I almost talked myself out of it 3 separate times, but the pressure in my chest wouldn't go away. That weird electric feeling you get right before you have to say something that actually matters. And then I heard it, not out loud, not in a dramatic movie voice way, but clear enough that I cannot pretend I didn't. Urgent. Yeah, urgent. Your guardian angel sent me because you need to hear this right now. The angel says your name, and I don't even know your name. I don't know where you are watching this. I don't know what you just went through 10 minutes ago, or what you're avoiding thinking about right now, right this second. But I was told very specifically that you would find this, not by accident, not because an algorithm got lucky, because something has been watching. Yes, something has been waiting for you to be ready. And the message I have is so important that I cannot keep quiet. So if you're here, if you made it past the first few seconds, please stay. Because whatever you think this is about, it's not what you expect. It's bigger. And it's looking right at you. Let me start with something uncomfortable. You have been waiting for permission for years. Maybe your whole life. Not loud, obvious permission. Not someone handing you a signed document, but the deep, quiet kind. The kind that makes your shoulders drop, the kind that says you are not too much, you are not behind, you are not broken, you are allowed to want what you actually want. And you have been looking for that permission in all the wrong places, in other people's approval, in achievements that never felt like enough, in relationships where you gave and somehow end up with less. In scrolling, in sleep, in pretending you don't care. But here is what the angel showed me. Here is what I cannot stop feeling in my own body as I say this. The permission you've been waiting for was never going to come from out there. It was always supposed to come from here, from this exact moment, from someone finally saying your name without knowing what it is. Because the angel doesn't need your legal name. The angel knows the name only you answer to in the dark. The version of you that wakes up at 3 in the morning and whispers, I don't know if I can keep doing this. That's the name I heard. And that's why this is urgent. You've been on a slow road, not because you are lazy, not because you are not talented, but because your soul needed you to become someone specific before anything could actually take off. Think about it. Yeah, you've lived multiple lifetimes inside this one life. There was a version of you that was explosive, that said everything, that burned bridges just to feel something, There was a version of you that was soft to the point of disappearing, that said nothing, that swallowed every truth to keep the peace. There was a version that tried to be what everyone else wanted. And there was a version that got so exhausted, trying that it shut down completely. You have been the knight of impulse. You've been the knight of emotion. You've been the knight of speed. But none of those versions could carry what you are about to carry. None of those versions had the patience. None of those versions had the lived-in, hard-won, I've been through enough to know better kind of wisdom. You had to become the version that is solid, the version that doesn't crumble when things get quiet, the version that has something real to offer, not a performance, not a persona, something tangible, something that comes from all those years of feeling like you were going nowhere. And I need you to hear this part because it's easy to miss. Let me focus. The delay wasn't a punishment. The delay was a curriculum. You were not being passed over. You were being deepened. Every time something didn't work out, every time you watched someone else get what they wanted faster, what you wanted faster, every night you lay there wondering what was wrong about you, with you. That wasn't abandonment. That was training. You were learning to see what other people don't see. You were learning to read the room before everyone else even notices there is a room. You were learning patience the hard way, maybe from a parent who needed you to be soft, maybe from an environment where exploding wasn't safe. Maybe from a childhood where you had to grow up fast, had to scan every face for danger, had to know exactly what was happening in the back corner before it happened. That hyper awareness that drains you but also saves you. That wasn't a glitch. That was your superpower being forged. You were not being broken. You were being calibrated. And now you are at the edge of something. I can feel it in the way the energy shifts when I say this. You are not at the beginning anymore. You are not even in the middle. You are at the moment right before the turn. The one where everything you've learned finally has somewhere to go. And the angel's message, the urgent one, the one that says your name, is this. Stop waiting for the conditions to be perfect. They never will be. But you are finally ready. I know you don't feel ready. That's part of the design. The people who are actually ready never feel ready. Because feeling ready would mean you've already outgrown the need to grow. And you haven't, you are still becoming, and that's the beautiful part. You are not finished product. You are a verb. You are in motion. But you have been in motion for so long without seeing results that you have started to believe the motion is pointless. It's not. Every single step, even the ones that felt like going backward, was folding into this moment, right now. When someone you don't know is telling you that your guardian angel said your name. Let me describe what I see when I close my eyes. I see someone who has learned to carry other people's discomfort, emotions, like they are their own. You feel responsible for how everyone else is doing. If someone's quiet, you assume you did something. If someone's sad, you try to fix it. If someone's angry, you make yourself small. That's not kindness. That's a survival strategy that used to keep you safe. And it worked. It got you through. But it also made you invisible to yourself. Because you were so busy managing everyone else's inner world that you forgot you have one too. And now, when you are alone, there's this hollow feeling. Not depression exactly, more like absence. Like someone unplugged something and you cannot find the cord. That's the cost of spending decades not being seen. You start to believe you were never meant to be seen at all. But here is what the angel wants you to know. The fact that you are still here, still searching, still watching strange videos from strangers on the internet, means that part of you never stopped believing you were meant for more. That part is quiet. It's been quiet for a long time, but it's not dead. It's been waiting for you to stop surviving and start living, waiting for you to stop asking for permission and start giving it to yourself. To yourself. And the urgency I feel right now, the reason I cannot keep quiet is that the window is open, not forever, no, not indefinitely, but right now. Something is aligning, opportunities you can't see yet, people you haven't met, versions of yourself that exist only in potential. They are all pressing against the door, and you are the only one who can open it. I keep hearing the word tangible over and over. The angel is very specific about this. You have something tangible to offer, not vague spiritual energy, not good intentions, something real, something you can hold or teach or create or share. Maybe it's your voice, maybe it's a skill you have been developing in secret, maybe it's the way you understand human behavior because you had to learn to read people to survive. Maybe it's a business. Yeah, you've been afraid to start. A book. You've been afraid to write. A conversation you have been afraid to have. That tangible thing, it's ready. It's been ready longer than you know. You are the one who hasn't been ready. Not because you're weak, because you didn't trust that anyone would want you or would want what you have to offer. Because you have been rejected before. Yeah. Because you put yourself out there once, or twice, or 100 times. And the response was silence. And silence, when you are waiting for someone to see you, feels exactly like a no. But silence isn't a no. Sometimes silence is just the space before the yes. Sometimes silence is the world waiting for you to grow into the person who can handle the yes. And you have grown. I can feel it. The weight of what you've been through isn't heavy in the same way anymore. It's starting to feel like depth, like texture, like something that makes you interesting, not broken. That shift didn't happen by accident. That shift is the signal. That shift is the angel finally saying, finally, you're ready to hear this. I'm not going to tell you something that might sound strange. I'm going to. There is a kind of luck that follows certain people, not random luck, not lottery luck, but the kind of luck that comes when a person stops fighting reality and starts flowing with it. When they stop trying to force things that are not meant for them and start walking toward what actually lights them up. That luck is real and it's about to hit you, not in a small way, in a way that feels like winning over and over, like doors opening right when you need them, like people showing up with exactly what you were looking for, like your name being called in a crowded room. That's the wheel turning. That's fortune waking up and remembering your address. But here's the catch. The luck doesn't come while you are waiting. It comes while you are moving. Not perfect movement, not confident movement, just movement. One step. One small, awkward, imperfect step toward that tangible thing you have been hiding from. That's all it takes to break the spell. Because right now, you are in a trance, the trance of not enoughness, the trance of maybe later, or I'll start when I feel ready. And the angel is standing at the edge of that trance saying your name, trying to wake you up, because the time for waiting is over. Because not because you finally earned it, because waiting has become a form of self-harm. And you have done enough of that already. Let me be more specific, because I think you need specifics. I think you have spent so long in vague discomfort that you have stopped believing clarity is possible. So here is some clarity. There is something you want to create, or say, or become. And every time you think about it, your stomach drops. Not because it's a bad idea, because it's a real idea. And real ideas are terrifying. They ask you to become someone new. They ask you to be seen. They ask you to risk failure in front of people who might laugh. And your nervous system, the one that learned to keep you safe by keeping you small, interprets that terror as warning sign. Stop. Don't do this. It's dangerous. But it's not dangerous. It's just unfamiliar. And your body is confusing unfamiliar with unsafe. That's the only thing standing between you and that tangible thing. A wiring glitch, a ghost from an old version of you that no longer exists. You're not in that old situation anymore. You're not the person who had to be invisible to survive. You're not surrounded by the same people who made you feel like wanting more was selfish. You've outgrown that environment, but you haven't outgrown the reflexes. And those reflexes are costing you everything. Every time you don't speak, every time you don't create, every time you don't ask for what you actually want, you're not being humble. You're not being kind. You are abandoning yourself in slow motion. And the angel is tired of watching it. That's why this is urgent. That's why I couldn't keep quiet. Because if I don't say this, if someone doesn't say this, you might spend another 10 years in the trance. And you don't have 10 years, not because you're running out of time, no, but because you are ready. You are already waited long enough. Your soul is bored. Your gifts are gathering dust. The people who need what only you can offer are still waiting, and they don't even know they are waiting. I want you to imagine something. Imagine you wake up tomorrow and the fear is gone, just gone. Not replaced by arrogance, not replaced by certainty, just the absence of that clutching feeling in your chest. What would you do? What would you say? Who would you call? What would you start? Don't overthink this. The first answer that comes up is the truth. That's the thing you actually want. That's the thing the angel is pointing at. And here's the part that might break something open for you. You don't have to wait for the fear to disappear. You can do that. You can do the thing while the fear is still there. Fear isn't a stop sign. Fear is just a sensation. It's just your body saying this is new. And you've done new things before. You learned to walk. You learned to drive. You learned to fake confidence in rooms full of strangers. You can do this too. The only difference is that this time the stakes are higher, because this time you're not trying to fit in. You are trying to show up as yourself. And yourself, the real one, the one who excited before you learned to hide, is magnificent. I don't say that to flatter you. I say it because I can feel it. When I tune into the energy around this message, there is so much power waiting to be released, so much wisdom, so much depth. You have no idea how much you have to offer, because you have spent your whole life looking speechless, looking at what you lack. But the angel sees what you have. The angel sees the late nights you stayed up thinking about how to help someone. The way you can walk into a room and know exactly what's wrong before anyone says a word. The way you've held yourself together when everything was falling apart. The way you've kept going, even when you wanted to give up. That's not nothing. That's everything. That's everything. That's the foundation. That's the tangible thing. You are the tangible thing. And now there is a shift coming, a perspective shift, something unexpected, maybe a message you receive in the next few days or weeks, something that flips how you see everything. It might come from a person, it might come from an experience, it might come from this video right now, but it's not going, it's going to hit you in the chest, and it's going to make you realize that you've been looking at your whole life backward. You thought you were behind. You were actually being positioned. Yeah, you thought you were forgotten. You were actually being protected. You thought your time had passed, hasn't even started yet. Not the real time, not the time when you finally step into what you are actually here for. I keep hearing the word leader, not in a corporate way, not in a bossy way, in a way that means people will look to you because you've been through that, what they are going through. You will not lead from above. You will lead from beside, from the dirt, from the trenches, from the places where things actually break and heal. That's the kind of leadership that changes lives. Not the kind with a title, the kind with a story. Your story. The one you've been hiding because you thought it made you weak. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you the only person who can reach the people who are right now where you used to be. And they need you. They are waiting for you to stop hiding so they can find you. This is the part where I tell you something that might be hard to hear. Not because it's mean, because it's true. You've been waiting for someone to believe in you. But the people around you, they already believe in you. So much that they've stopped saying it. They assume you know. They assume you've got it handled. They assume you don't need the cheerleading because you are the one who always pulls through. And that silence, that absence of applause has made you feel alone. But you are not alone. You are just surrounded by people who trust you more than you trust yourself. And that's a different problem. That's a problem with a much better solution. Because you can learn to trust yourself. You can learn to see what they see. You can learn to be the one who says, I believe in me, when no one else is saying it. And that's the real message. That's what the angel came to tell you. Not that everything will be easy, not that you will not fail, but that you are ready. You are finally, after all these years, ready. And because you are perfect, because you are real, not because you have no fear, because you have fear and you are going to do it anyway. That's the definition of courage. That's the definition of faith. That's the definition of someone who has lived 5 lifetimes in one body and is finally ready to live the 6th as themselves. So here is what I need you to do. Nothing dramatic, nothing that requires a vision board or a morning routine or a public declaration. Just this. The next time you feel that pull towards something, that quiet whisper that says, I wish I could, or maybe I should, or what if I actually tried? Don't talk yourself out of it. Don't analyze it. Don't wait until Monday. Just move 1 millimeter toward it. That's all. One text, one note, one Google search, 1 minute of doing the thing instead of thinking about the thing. That's how the trance breaks. not with a revolution, with a single, small, unglamorous act of choosing yourself. And when you do it, when you take that step, you will feel something shift. Not fireworks, something quieter, something like relief, something like, oh, I remember this. I remember who I am. That's your angel smiling. That's the angel saying your name again. Not urgently this time, gently, like a parent watching a child take a first step. Like a friend who's been waiting by the phone, like the part of you that never gave up, finally getting what it's been waiting for. You have got the source. Yeah, you know you do. You've been hiding it for so long that you almost forgot it was there. But it is there. It's always been there. And now you have permission. Not from me, no. Not from an angel, from yourself. The only permission that ever mattered. So go do the thing. Be the person. Say the words. Create the thing. And when you look back on this moment, you will realize something. The urgent message wasn't about doom, it wasn't about fear. It was about love. The love that has been following you your whole life, waiting for you to turn around and see it. The love that says your name when no one else is listening. The love that sent this video to you right now because you needed to hear that you are not crazy, you are not broken, you are not behind, you are exactly on time. And you are so ready. Do not waste it.